Model railway news is coming in thick and fast these days, and here's another news update to keep you up to date with some interesting new announcements from these manufacturers. And there's some stuff across a number of different scales too. I'm going to flash up this notification before I get started, short and sweet, and then we can get into it. Right, let's go. Dapple first, and they have released some photos of their Great Western Railway auto coach in OO Scale, and we have decorated sample shots of all the liveries now. They're really shaping up to be something really cool looking, especially in this Great Western Railway cream and brown livery here, but also in the other versions as well. On inspection of these photographs, Dapple have actually made 4 small corrections based on what they've seen here. The first being that some of the no smoking signs needed to be relocated, and on the Great Western Railway Twin City and shirt button liveries, there were some corrections around the windows, and the suffix W needed to be removed from the BR Maroon model, and there was also a small adjustment required to enable the optional auto gear to be fitted to the model without fouling the bogie. All of these have now been resolved as production moves on. With all of the models, they feature, among other things, sprung plastic buffers. Bit strange that they're not made of metal, but anyway, it's also got a removable roof for easy insertion of crew and passengers, and it's got working interior lights, and each of them can be bought as either DC at an RRP of £80, DCC at an RRP of £115, or DCC with sound at an RRP of £195. But of course, shop around as discounts are already available. Delivery is on track for Q2 this year. Also announced by Dapple in OO Scale are these type KQA and KTA wagons. These kind of well wagons are very common in the USA, but here in the UK we also saw them appearing to allow high cube containers to be transported across UK lines. There's going to be 4 versions of the tip hook rail livery blue with different numbering, and they're priced at an RRP of £45 each. A long time to wait for these though, not due in the shops until Q1 2026. And sticking with Dapple but switching to OO9 Scale, they have just shown some new bow-sider coach models. These are modelled on coaches which are operated by the Festiniog Railway. 2 livery options, the red and cream or the green so-called Colonel Stevens livery are being offered, and this will be applied to numbers 17, 18, 19 and 20, so 8 models in total. Available this quarter, so any day now, at an RRP price of £62.50 each. I've not spoken about Rapido for a while, but they are back teasing us with some engineering samples of their upcoming so-called evolution coaches. These are kind of freelance coaching stock based on pre-grouping era designs, so these are generic 48-foot bogie coaches which come with design features typical of the period. These are coming in triple packs or singles, all with different numbers, and there's a whole bunch of livery options to choose from as well. Probably something to suit everyone here. You can see here too that they come with interior lighting as standard, and there are a lot of variations across the range to make them all look a bit more interesting and kind of authentic, even though they're not. The key thing here you're seeing though is that they've added a full brake version to the range, and also an all first class version as well to the initial run. I would suspect there'd be more to come. In terms of prices, you're looking at an RRP of £199.95 for a triple pack or £69.95 for a single coach. Pretty cool and available later in the year. Stay tuned for more updates. Now we have some updates from Oxford Rail in OO Scale. The first is this little Fordson tractor rail shunter, and we have just these renderings at the moment. You can see that they are all the same model, just with different liveries. This is new tooling, and we have this production sample photo though. These are expected in Q2 this year at an RRP of just £11.95 each. Another new tooling is the GWR Totem A bogie flat wagon, designed for carrying large cast iron industrial parts. There's quite a few variations of this model, but they all kind of look the same, with only some minor differences, and all in this black colour. Priced at £28.95 each, they're due in Q4 this year. By the way, these pics are just 3D computer renders at the moment, so I'll update once we get a view of the real models. And this is a common thing with most recent Oxford Rail announcements, as they have some retooled BR pilchard ballast wagons in various liveries, but only computer renderings. 2 examples here. And a new batch of the Great Eastern 10-ton banana vans in, I guess, some new liveries, as we only have computer images of these as well. Again, 2 examples here. Don't we have enough banana wagons though? There's 3 new livery options on the 12-ton tank wagons, which are due very soon. Priced at £23.95 each, we still don't have images of the actual models though. We did get a view of the 15-ton Cowan's Sheldon crane. This is a photo of a production sample which now comes with a matched wagon based on a Midland Railway design. The crane has had to have some redesign work done due to its complicated mechanism. 4 different livery options will be available in the first run, and it's been priced at $19.95, which seems incredibly cheap for a 2-wagon set. Is this really actually true? If so, get your orders in super quick. Some resellers are even offering a discount on this price too. Must be the bargain of the year, surely. Moving on to HO Scale now, we have some new exciting models announced from Roco. First is this CD RH841 diesel railcar in Era 6 white and green livery. A very handy model for smaller layouts. This has the usual Roco specification of a Plux22 interface, directional lights and interior lighting. A really great looking model, I think, and priced here in the UK around the £220 mark for analog DC and £340 for DCC with sound. Stepping back to Era 4, we have the very boxy CSD T478 diesel locomotive, this one number 1209 from Era 4. Although coming with all the usual Roco refinements, it has the older Plux 16 interface. I do find this personally a bit of an uninspiring subject to model as well. Anyway, if this appeals to you, it's around £145 and £100 more for DCC sound fitted versions. By contrast, I love this version of the T478 with its goggle windows. If I had to choose between the two, then this would definitely get my money. That said, this Era 4 maroon livery is a bit plain, and there are other more interesting livery options for this locomotive. However, this is priced the same at £145 and £245. The DBV188 double diesel locomotive is a big old beast, and here in this dark green with the grey roof is number 002 from Era 3. We've gone back to Plux22 for this one now, and it comes with the usual electrical features, plus a driver's cab, driver's desk and control box lighting, as well as engine room lighting, plus directional lights as well. However, of note, the specification says that only 4 axles are driven here, so it looks like the other 4 axles are just free rolling. Delivery in Q4 this year and priced around £340 for analog, and this time either DCC or AC digital with sound for around £550, which is quite a jump up from the DC price. I'm not really sure why. Back down to Plux 16 for yet another Ludmilla. I'm beginning to think this is the Class 47 of the DR, as there are just so many new livery options for the BR142. I see no reason to buy this one if you already have a maroon version, but it's priced here at around £150 for analog and around £250 for DCC sound. No AC in this one at the moment. It's no surprise that the DCC sound version of this Austrian OBB RH1043 electric loco has been announced here. We had the analog version out a little while ago, and here it is in digital sound version. Plux22 digital decoder with a range of lighting options to play around with, and coming in around £350. And we get another livery option on the rack and pinion electric locomotive, this time in the Sonnenblickbahn Era 3 maroon and cream. It's a great little model this, with lots of appeal including lighting and sound in a tiny 100mm long model. It's only Plux 16 and has a 3-pole motor with flywheel, but it's a very lovely thing to have and could be yours for around £290. Onto rolling stock, we have a new livery option here. It's the rather stylish SBB First Class Eurocity compartment coach from Era 6. Lots of lovely details and finish on this and priced around £35. And no surprises, there's a second class coach as well to match and priced the same. And just one sole wagon at the moment, this tank wagon again, this time in Dutch NS Railway livery. It does have quite extensive ladder and handrails added to it, which look really interesting. It's priced here at around £30. There was also some HOE scale items to check out from Roco, and obviously these are going to be Austrian. The first is the OBB RH2095.11 diesel, which has the fantastic wheel arrangement with the counterweights and coupling rods. This looks great on the track, this model, and here with a new number it comes with a fully detailed cab interior, including a driver figure. Not a new model, just a livery option, but priced at around £230 for analog and £320 for DCC with sound. Expected Q3 this year. And if you didn't fancy that livery, you could opt for it in the PLB Era 6 livery as a VS73. Same specification otherwise, and I think for me this would be my choice. Same price too. There's an insane amount of Roco stuff planned for 2025, and I'll try and get through it all on an update soon, and I'll publish that video as soon as I can. At the moment though, we'll move on to a couple of surprising additions to the Hornby range already. The first is this, a new diesel mixed freight train set, but when I say new, it's not really. The loco has a new blue satellite livery on it, and it's matched to 3 wagons which are absolutely ancient ones that have been around since I think the 70s. I really don't know why this has come around after Hornby announced some new starter sets with new tooling that look really interesting. But with the diesel mixed freight train set, you also get the circle of track with siding and the ancient track mat too, and all this comes in at an RRP of £119. The other thing announced was the LMS Princess Royal Turbomotive steam locomotive. So this is an older model that's come around again, and it does represent a rather unusual version of the Princess Royal. This, by the way, is a photo of the older version, as currently we only have this ropey image and details are a bit sketchy as I record this. However, there will be an analogue version and an HM7000 sound fitted one too, so let's keep an eye on this and I'll update when we find out more. A quick update on Cavalex Models, who are the first out the gates in 2025 with their Class 60 model, and it's the Rails exclusive one that's hit the market first, amazingly. It's the bright livery of DB Cargo's steel on steel flames, and it looks like it's been very well applied to this model. Well done to them, it really looks spot on, and the pipework picked out in the bogies and underframe looks superb too. And I suppose it needs to be, as it's up against stiff competition this year. It has a raft of features and it's hard to find any faults with this at all. Definitely a great looking thing, and I reckon it'll be popular. Comes in analog DC for £194.95 or DCC with sound for £294.95. You could also opt for it with the deluxe weathering that Rails offer too for an additional cost if you prefer it that way as well. As well as this, also exclusive to Rails is the Isambard Kingdom Brunel GWR green version of 60 081 due in Q2 2025. And in their Railway Icons range, 60 098 Charles Francis brush also due in Q2. And of course there's the general release ones from Batch 1 coming in February 2025. And Batch 2 in mid to late Q2. Geez, oh, that's a lot of Class 60s. And don't forget, other manufacturers are also producing a Class 60, or are going to do so very soon. Anyway, I'll just quickly mention that also from Cavalex are the PXA and JXA wagons, which are also Rails exclusive models, only available through them. No firm delivery date on these yet, but there's certainly an extensive range of them. And also there's a newly tooled range of type PHA and JGA bogie hopper wagons too, which are being sold in singles or triple packs. These are general release wagons, so available from various retailers. Certainly lots of choice from Cavalex this year already. Now we're going to speak about Rails of Sheffield again and their exclusive range. This time it's in association with Heljan, and we've got some decorated samples of the upcoming new run of Class 28 Kobo diesel locos. The range includes reruns of the most popular models, as well as some new variations not covered in the range previously in BR Green and BR Blue. Aside from the new inclusion of DCC sound provision, these models will also feature enhanced livery applications over previous releases. 5 different options in the range, and all of them feature high levels of detail with separately fitted parts including handrails, etch grills, underframe relief and more. They come with accessory packs with optional headcode discs, and mechanically they will have a 5-pole motor with twin flywheels, all-wheel pickups and 8-wheel drive. And now there's also a digital and sound capable version with an 8-pin DCC socket. I think with these samples there's still some work to be done, but there's a lot of time to make those changes as these won't be available till later in the year. The price for these are set at £199.95 for analog and £329.95 as DCC sound fitted versions. You can pre-order now from Rails if you'd like one of these. And of course I can't do a report without mentioning Accurascale at some point, because they just never stop producing stuff. And this is interesting, it's an update on their first ever O Scale model, which must be putting the fear into Heljan, I reckon. It's their little 040 Ruston 88DS shunter model, which has already arrived into stock. Certainly a colourful range of liveries, and they are coming in this really neat packaging that also includes a booklet about the loco, and with some of them, like the tarmac version, comes in a unique box. There's much to love about these little locos, as their bright colours are matched with some great detail too, and I especially like the interior details shown here, which even include lifelike silver metal finish of the controls and even needles on the dials. That said, I am not so sure about the finish where the window glass is glued to the body, but overall I think this is pretty good. Have your say in the comments below on what you think. Available to buy now, they are priced at an RRP of £191.66, strangely enough, for analog DC, and £266.66 for DCC with sound. What's with the 66 pences? Anyway, you can also pay an extra £13.96 for a driver figure to drive the loco. It comes colour printed like this, but I reckon could be improved if you have a steady hand and a thin paintbrush. It's going to be really interesting to see how this goes for Accurascale and what they might tackle next in this new scale for them. Anyway, that's the video, folks. Thanks for watching. I'm sure there'll be more coming soon, so subscribe to keep yourself up to date, and I'll see you on the next one.